Okay, I'm ready.
Sounds good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Behind the Camera with AndyGames. This is the podcast where I interview streamers and content creators with the sole purpose of getting to know the person a little bit better behind the camera. Today, we have MC. MC, thank you for taking the time to come on to Behind the Camera. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Amazing. Good to hear. Good to hear. So we've been through this just before. So I obviously have a list of questions for you, and we'll just sort of talk around that and just have a good time getting to know you a little bit better.
All right.
So first of all, take us back to the beginning. So what did your gaming journey look like, and how did this lead into streaming?
So I started watching Mario streams, like I was scrolling TikTok whenever I was supposed to be asleep and like never even watched live streams at all. And actually I think it was Hawk who like came up on my FYP and I watched him and then I kind of got invested in all of the different, how TikTok leads you to
Mm-hmm.
one and then the next and the next. And then I was like, you know what? This is like looks like so much fun. Like I'm just gonna do it for fun. So I started literally on my cell phone. Like I just propped my cell phone up, pointed at my TV, and did Spyro because it's like the only game that I felt like at the time I said I don't want to stream anything that I don't know 100% how to play. Of course,
Yeah.
that's obviously changed drastically since then, but I was like, I need to know this game backwards and forwards because I don't want anyone to come on and be like, you don't even know what you're doing. So so that was the only game I felt like I knew backwards and forwards. So that's where I started with that. And then sort of took off. We did like Lou actually was like, please play Mario, please play Mario. I'm like, I'm not good at it. Like, I know you guys are all Mario people, you want to see it. So we did do it, and then it just kind of like started growing into what it is now. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, and did you always play like obviously you played Spyro, which
mhm.
we'll come to that after, but like was that something like you played for like a long time before, or
Yeah,
what
that was
kind
like
of
my childhood game. Yeah.
yeah.
So like I did play Mario as a kid. Like the 64 that I played on was like my original one that I had
Mhm.
as a kid. But once Spyro came out, I don't know. I think that they came out after. Yeah. I just like that was my game. I
Mhm.
like had the manuals, you know how they used to
Oh
have like
yeah.
the big thick books with like the playthrough. Yeah, I had all of them. And that's all I did. So that was my game as a kid. So that's the one that I like felt like I could enjoy
Mhm.
streaming that.
So then
So,
how good was that then when like Spyro had like the Reignited trilogy released?
yeah.
You know,
Oh
like
my gosh, yeah. Like I look back at my Facebook memories and I remember like sharing that like, "Oh my God, is this real?" And yeah, it was so cool. So cool. Yeah.
so is that what then you
So,
play when you do Spyro? Do you do it off the Reignited trilogy, or do you do it off like the original PS1 version and PS2 and all?
I've done both, but speed running, I did it on Reignited. Of
Mhm.
course, I don't really speed run anymore, but I did do that through Reignited at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair, fair. Because that's something I find admirable as well. Like, you know, kind of nicely leads us on here. So like you've gone from streaming on for one particular thing, from streaming Spyro speedrunning, and you've gone into like variety. Because like obviously a lot of people know you as you're top 100 in the world, Spyro, which is incredible. And also having played a little bit of Mario 64, because that's how whenever I first saw you streaming, saw your content, that was you playing Mario 64. But obviously now you've pushed into more variety with things such as like The Sims, Fortnite, etc. So then how did you find making that sort of transition into variety, and like in doing so keeping your viewership and community, given that's something that a lot of streamers struggle with? Like once they find their particular niche, they feel like they have to stick to that. So how did you find like switching over to variety and just, being comfortable with doing so?
Yeah, that's definitely hard. Because I know like still even to this day, if I like pull up Mario 64, my views will be much higher than if I'm streaming whatever else. So and Spyro is not that like I wouldn't say it's like a popular game. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
my views were ever crazy with that either. But it was kind of a natural switch. There was never a time where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something different with this. I think it ended up happening. say I started streaming in like June, and then when October rolled around, everyone's like, "What do you think about like doing a scary
Hmm.
game or something like that for, everybody turns into a horror streamer in the month of October?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we started playing Five Nights at Freddy's, and everyone loved it. And I was like, "Okay, like I had fun with this. It's different." Like I really admire those people who can speed run and that's all that they do.
Yeah,
All of the time. They get on every day. They boot up Project 64 and they do it for 5+ hours a day because it is draining to me. And so I find myself like speed running. I came to a point with Spyro where it's like, it's really fun in the beginning because you're like PBing and you're PBing. It's like, yeah, this is awesome. But you finally hit a spot
yeah,
where it becomes like harder to PB and
for
it
sure.
just becomes more frustrating. And so, like, this isn't my full-time job. I do this, like, I make time out of my day to do this, so I don't want it to be stressful.
Yeah,
Like,
of
it's not
course.
meant to be stressful at all. So that's when I kind of was like, okay, like, screw it. We'll just do something fun then. Let's just do whatever else. And yeah, so obviously I went through, I feel like views go through stages, like starting about now until like March.
Uh
Usually
huh.
views kind of like they plummet because of the holidays
Yeah,
and
of
like
course.
school starting and all of that stuff. Um, but um, I found that there are people that will be there no matter what you play.
Yeah.
Whether you just get on there and play, I've played Wheel of Fortune before, like, or if you're playing 64, like, there will always be like your little core group of people that are like,
Yeah.
hey, we are here for you, not Mario, not whatever. And then it'll eventually grow. Like, in every stream's different,
Oh,
you never really know.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like, and I think it's a good mindset to have as well, because then, like, at the same time, you're able to just be like, okay, this is what I want to do today. Like, this is what I'm
Hmm.
doing. If people don't turn up, okay, it's not their thing. It's not what they want to see, whatever. That's fine. But you're still kind of being true to yourself in that way. And like, I think the way that you're so active with your community as well, I think that's definitely a sort of important thing too, because at the same time, like, it kind of helps people within the community get to know you like a little bit better, just generally speaking. And then that way they kind of look forward more because, well, like you say, because they're there for you. And
Hmm.
like the fact I do want to touch on the Wheel of Fortune thing. I have a couple of things. How did that come about? Because that's such a like a random thing. Like,
Yeah. So
I
like
love
I
it, but it's so
downloaded.
random.
Yeah, no, so I downloaded it for like a friend. We were just gonna like play on the side or whatever.
Hmm.
And then with the leaderboard thing, I usually have done like since very early on in streaming, whoever is on the top of the little Tickfinity leaderboard at the end of the month gets to pick the game, the
Yeah.
first stream of the month. And the person who won it that month was like, "Well, what games do you have?" And I just listed off what I had on my Switch. At the time, I didn't have a PC. I was just like streaming off
Yeah.
my laptop to a capture card, whatnot. So I didn't have like The Sims, all the things I have now. And he was like, "Okay, do Wheel of Fortune." I was like, "No, you're joking. Like, no one is going to watch that. This is going to be such an embarrassing stream. There's going to be like one person there." There ended up being quite literally 1,400 people there. I have
No
never gotten
way.
a stream
Holy
that has
shit.
taken off like that in ever since then. And the subsequent two streams that I've streamed that game was like 600 and 400. And
Wow.
to be honest, I've been terrified to stream it again because there's so much pressure of like, what if this time there's only 10? And so yeah, it was crazy that it took off and the comments were like flying. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what these like really big streamers
Yeah.
feel like. Like I could not keep up. Like the chat would freeze and then it would be like do, and I'm like, oh my gosh, for Wheel of Fortune of all things, like I literally like hit click live with dread in my heart that this was going to be the worst stream that I had had to date. Like no one was going to want to watch this. And so it was crazy. Like that will be like I don't even remember if this was supposed to be a question or not, but that will be like one of my top streaming moments for
Brilliant.
like all time is having that many freaking people watching you at once.
Yeah.
when you're that small.
I
And I was on my phone. Oh my gosh, like I was like I no at that time I think I was using my camera off my laptop, but like I was sitting in the floor on my my living room like there was nothing professional about it at all. But it was yeah, it was crazy.
That's insane,
It was
especially when
crazy.
you take into account the setup that you had, like the most basic setup. And which, you know what, like I mean, everybody starts somewhere, like, and you know, you've seen like how many people you've seen just with their phone propped up to their TV and stuff, and like, you know what, it's like
Mhm.
that. I think the fact that people can do that, because I feel like that takes like an element of confidence, because like obviously some people can get quite like pernickety about like somebody's setup and how professional it looks. Like I have my background
Mhm.
blurred because the room behind me is a fucking mess. But before I had I was on like a really it wasn't even a gaming laptop, it was a really bad laptop, and it was like my stream I could only ever stream on Twitch, and it was like my frame rate was like 30, maybe any below 30 frames per second. It was terrible. It was like a PowerPoint presentation. And
Yeah.
like you got to start somewhere, and the fact that like you're able to sort of get that kind of exposure for like such a niche random game,
Yeah.
I feel like it's always the sort of random games that do that. Like I
So
think
I have this theory. I tell people this all the time that people, when you stream, want to see one of two things. They want to see you be really, really good at something, or they want to be able to tell you what to do. And so, people loved that I was like, "You guys give me the answers. You do it.
yeah.
You do it." Like, I don't really it's Wheel of Fortune. Like, we're not taking this serious. This isn't you don't tell me the answer, I'm gonna figure it out. And so
Yeah.
people I think vibed with that of just like, yeah, like they felt like they were included
Mm.
in the stream and were participating instead of just watching someone like when you play Fortnite. If you want to watch someone play Fortnite, typically with the vast amount of people that play Fortnite, you want to watch someone who is really good.
Yeah,
There
of
are
course.
plenty of people out there that are okay, but so it's hard to get into something like that that's like such a wide thing, and you can't participate in that unless you're playing with them,
Yeah.
you know? So I think that's what it was, but yes, it's really, really crazy. That's yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that's the thing. Like with a lot of viewers, like what they want to get out of a stream is like people want to go in, they want to see a game that they can essentially backseat in. Now, obviously, like it kind of has to that means something. But I think with Wheel of Fortune specifically, because like it's a sort of like I mean I don't think you could ever like ask somebody if they've ever not seen um an episode of Wheel of Fortune. I feel like everybody
Yeah.
has. So like they kind of
Yeah.
immediately see that, and like it just relates to that kind of like nostalgia.
Mhm.
And it's like sort of yeah, brilliant. So then to see it play, because like I have actually a similar story myself. So one of my viewers, Miss Dagger, you may know her.
Mhm.
She said to me one time during a stream, she's like, "Oh, I'd watch you play Minesweeper." So I was like, "All right,
Okay.
I'll play Minesweeper." And lo and behold, she didn't even turn up for the stream that day, and I still hold her to that every single time it comes up. And but there was like it wasn't like for no reason, but like I mean, but truthfully, it's like when you do play these games that do are like out of your kind of like normal routine, like I find that there's sometimes like a lot more fun. Like
Mhm.
I thought playing Minesweeper was incredible. I will have to give Wheel of
Yeah.
Fortune a go though at some point, because like
Yeah,
I
I
feel
haven't
like
played it in so long.
you saying that's kind of
Yeah.
unlocked like a core memory almost, as they
Yeah, no,
say.
I thought it was really fun. It's not something I could have played for like after a couple hours I was like, "All right, this is enough of this."
Yeah,
But
oh yeah, for sure.
but then it's like yeah, I felt like I locked in because I'm like, "I'm not getting off. I have 600 people watching me right now. Like I'm not signing off." So, yeah, but no, and you know, that's the thing with variety streaming. It's just like sometimes I'll log on, the game's like trash, and it's
Yeah.
like, "All right, we're deleting this. We're never gonna watch it again." And then there's other times that it's everybody's like, "Oh man, we loved that." Like, "Yeah, we want you to play that again." So,
Mhm.
and I typically don't care. Like, I just there's nights where I'm like, "No, I want to play The Sims," or
Yeah.
"We're doing this." But for the most part, I'm like, "What do y'all wanna play?" Like, I don't know, we're just here to have fun and vibe. Like, I'm not stellar, like, I'm not top at anything other than Spyro, so it's like, I don't care. We're just here
Yeah.
for fun,
And of
so
course, because like obviously, when you do variety, like you don't have to be, because a lot of the time you're playing new games. A lot of the time it's like you're
Mhm.
playing a game for the first time, or something that you might have played a while ago, but you don't really know much in. So it's like kind of, and I think like that's the sort of uh, good thing for engagement too, because like everybody watching, or at least most people, essentially are kind of like living vicariously through you. It's the first time they've seen the games,
Yeah.
first time you've seen the game, so it's kind of like you're going on that like journey together. And it's like to touch on what you said about speedrunning, like you do plateau in speedrunning, and or to at
Mhm.
least to the point like naturally, but like to the point where you end up having to focus on practice streams and stuff. And like if you're a speedrunner, great. If that's what your, if that's what your stream has like been based around for a long time, fair enough. But like if it's not what you want out of it, then of course, like, and so I mean, it seems based on that, like obviously going from like
Yeah.
Spyro to trying a bit of Mario out, like to variety, it sounded like it was like the best thing for you, and that it's essentially like
Yeah.
kept it alive for you for like for the most part, like which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like so as well. So just moving on a sec. So something I find like incredible, is your balance that you have between you manage a job, you're a parent, and then taking time out of your day to stream. So the fact that you've got that routine down and you're able to just like stick to like a schedule, and be able to go on for a few hours and just kind of like everything just like seems to sort of fall into place. So like how do you find that balance, and does that come with its challenges?
Yeah, so I think, when I first started, I would feel like I needed to get on every night, and that was what I needed to do, and then I would feel myself, like, feeling like, "Okay, I'm clocking out of my job to go clock in to be a parent, to clock out of being a
Hmm.
parent, to clock in to being a streamer," and so I've really had to play around with my schedule to find a balance of, "This is fun, this isn't a task,"
Yep.
but also make it where I'm still consistent and I'm not, "Oh, well, we don't know when she's gonna stream. It might be next week, it might be 3," whatever. So that's definitely come with, like, just doing it for long enough that, um I tend to do shorter, like, during the week
Yeah.
because that's when I'm busiest, and then on the weekends, I tell people, I'm like, "We'll try to make them longer streams so that, you get more time," and, but then there's some nights too, it's like, "Guys, I don't feel good, like, I can't
Yeah.
do this tonight, I'm tired." Um, and I've really never had anyone say, "Well, you suck for not coming on if you don't feel good," like, nobody wants you to come on and have 50% energy.
Yep.
Like, there's nothing worse than logging on to a stream and the streamer was, like, not giving anything. Um, so I would rather not be on and
Yeah,
come
of course.
back and be like, "Hey, I'm here, like, I'm ready, let's do this," than, "Yeah, we've done this every day and I'm really tired, but, I have to do this, it's a job," whatever, and for some people, it is a job. Um, but you also don't go into work being like, hate you all. I mean, you do, but maybe not out loud. You still have to fake it or you're gonna get fired.
Yeah.
So, it's just come with time. I've definitely had to play with my schedule a lot. Finding, what time works for me, how frequently works for me, and taking those days off, incorporating movie nights.
Yeah.
So we're still doing community things, but I don't have to be on camera and on. It's relaxing, and I can just kind of, still chat with my people,
Of
still
course.
communicate with them, but not be, you know,
Yeah.
playing something or doing
100%. I
something.
think I
Yeah,
think like I think the movie nights that you do like are definitely like they're definitely a good thing. It keeps sort of people engaged. It gives people like something to look forward to on your days off as
yeah,
well. And like of course it's the same sort of thing, like you said before that you went from streaming every single day, and like like you say, if you're not given 100% energy, like not only does that sort of make you not want to do it anymore, but then like your viewers also notice that. And like I definitely like I've probably experienced this myself, and I've seen it with other people that like people will just kind of they will just fade out as a result, like. And so
hmm,
it is important to just kind of like I said, well, it's important to have that balance, like so
for
obviously,
sure.
I mean,
I think, yeah, sorry, I don't
no,
mean to
no, no,
cut
no,
you
no,
off,
not
but
at
you
all.
said that and made me think of something that I actually did have, like, one of my original people. when I was streaming a lot and I was kind of in a rut. This was kind of before I started like truly variety streaming.
Hmm.
That messaged me and was like, "You kind of seem like you don't wanna be here anymore." And I'm like, "But I do, but I think I," and it was, like, tough. It was, like, that was tough to hear, but at the same time, it made me step back and realize, "Okay, so something I'm doing is not right." Because I did want to be there, but it was just so much, I
Yeah.
think. So that's when I scaled back, kind of like switched around my schedule, started exploring. Of course, buying my PC opened like a whole new set of doors for me to be able to play different things. Steam is better than Amazon. So,
100%.
yeah, so that made a big difference in what I was able to do and, have a little bit more variety to make it more fun. Um, but it did kinda take someone saying that for me to be like, "Yeah, I don't wanna seem like that." Like, because I do want to
Mm.
be here, I love to if I didn't like it, I wouldn't carve out my only free time every day to do
Yeah,
this.
of course.
So yeah, I think it just takes some but yeah, you're right, if you're not there, your people will fade out. If
Yeah.
they feel like you don't wanna be there, you're not enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, I think didn't Sir T say that? Like, if you're not enjoying it, why would someone else enjoy
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And like the thing is as well, like if one person says that to you, how many people might actually be thinking that and just not say it?
Too
Like,
scared to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like as a streamer, nobody wants to hear, "Oh, you're not really into this." They
Yeah.
want the, it's a sort of like it's a tough pill to swallow. So it's like it's good that
Mhm.
that person came out to you with that kind of honesty, just to be like, "Look, you, you know, are you okay? Like, you don't seem like you're enjoying this." And of course,
Yeah.
there are times when, naturally you just don't enjoy it because whether it be something going on like in stream or something outside of stream, just in everyday life, because we all know how everyday life goes.
Yeah.
It can be stressful. It can just be a shitty place to be at times. And
Yeah.
like that's the thing. And the thing with streaming, like I'm sure you will agree, is that it's a nice outlet. You get to kind of just chill and vibe with some amazing people. Because we've all met some great people through doing this, like
Mhm.
for real. But yeah, like I think it is one of them things where you can't put on a brave face. You have to be as close to your full self as you possibly can be. Like it's easier to
Yeah.
go into work, into your normal day job, and just kind of, put on your people voice, put on your, your smile. But then when you get to like this world, it's people will immediately just see through that. And I think that's like such a fascinating thing.
Mhm.
Like for real.
Yeah, there's, somebody else that I saw, like, a bigger streamer that was like, "You're kind of like a TV show." So, like, you know, you come on at a certain time every day, they're used to watching that show every day, and if all of a sudden the show sucks,
Hmm.
you're gonna stop watching it. You're not gonna spend your time like, yeah, you love the first 3 seasons, but then it kinda went to crap season
Oh
4,
wow.
so you know what I mean? And
So
so he said that, I'm like, that's valid, that's very valid.
yeah, that's a
Like
really interesting way of looking at that. I've never thought about that before.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
those as well. Like, I mean, it kind of it makes sense with how people change too. Like just people like sort of they go on to move on to do different things. It's like a new
Mhm.
season of streaming, if you will. Like that's
Yeah.
quite
Yeah, and it's
interesting.
not always the same person, like, I know I've grown a lot in the past, like, year and a half that I've been doing
Hmm.
this as, like, not only a streamer, but as a person of, like, the people that I've met, the relationships that I've had, the relationships that have gone bad, like, all of those
Yeah,
things have, made me grow, so you can't I mean, yeah, and so I feel like people come and go as you grow, and that's okay. Um, so just I
yeah,
think the same thing's a TV show.
yeah.
They love season 5. Season 1 sucked, it goes both ways. Like, "Oh, we like this new season. You weren't really that great on season 1." It's kind of grainy
You definitely,
grainy
yeah, but
quality.
you definitely rather it be that way though. You would definitely rather it
Yeah.
be that way because I think it kind of it shows that it shows your growth for one, and then it also shows that you're kind of essentially listening to your community as well in terms of like not doing exactly what they want to see as such, but more just you're kind of like what works in a sense, and like
Yeah.
you're the community then kind of you kind of embody that too. Like Also, like I have to point out, obviously we just got a little appearance from your cat.
Yeah, yeah, she's our stream kitty.
The stream kitty, love that, love
Yeah,
that. How old's your
yeah.
cat?
I think she's like two, three maybe
That's so
now.
cool.
3, yeah.
No, I like to. Do
Yeah,
you know
she's
what?
become our little mascot.
That's the first time we've ever had a pet appearance on Behind the Camera, I have to
Oh!
say.
Yeah, she's always in here. She's really become, a really cute part of the stream. Like, people can feed her treats through the channel points,
Oh,
and they, like,
amazing.
look for it. She has her own emote,
That is
that
so
Beats
cool.
made us, so she's cute. I think it's cute.
Yeah, and your
Yeah,
cat's
she likes it.
on your merch as well. So obviously you've just released
Yeah,
your first line of merch, which for those who are
yeah,
watching live at the moment, you'll see MC is wearing a t-shirt with a little logo
yeah.
on it.
Designed by wait, it's this way.
Yeah.
You!
Yeah, I designed that
Yeah.
logo for MC, and I'm very, very happy with how it's turned out. Like it looks awesome
Yes,
on
it
the
looks so
t-shirt.
cool.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
so
we
glad
were
you like it.
actually, we were live today co-hosting with someone when it came to the door, and I was like, "I'm so sorry, I have to pause this co-host. I have to get this package." He was like, "Go now." So, yeah, it's super cool, super cool.
Yeah, what do you
So,
how do you feel like having like your merch line out, like, because it's I feel like it's something that kind of with there does become this kind of element, I think, with imposter syndrome. Just going off on a bit of a segue here, but it doesn't really matter. But like, you know,
yeah.
releasing merch, it's the kind of thing like I always find when I first released mine, there was like a slight bit of imposter syndrome, like should I be doing this? Am I big enough to do this? Like it's just the sort of thing, because I know a lot of people kind of hold off for a long time. I think I did it in my
Yeah.
first 6 months because I just thought, fuck it, why not? Like what?
Yeah.
So
No, I have had, like, some of my original people asking forever
mhm,
for merch, and that has been what you said has been my exact statement. I'm like, "We are the smallest community. We're a strong community, but
yeah,
we are very small. There is absolutely no need for me to have merch." And if I'm being honest, I still feel that way, but, there were enough people that kept bringing it up,
hmm,
and it was one of those things where it was like, I'm not losing money to
yeah,
put this out. So even if one person wants it, cool, great, that's awesome. So it is what it is. It's just it's there. I don't feel like I'm like big enough to have
yeah.
that, but I think it's still been super exciting to see it come out. And if all else fails, look, I even have a little sticker of my cat now on a
Oh, that's so cool. That's
yeah.
so
So,
cool.
I
I
mean,
love that.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, but no, I totally agree. I've said that over and over and over again. I'm like, "No, we are not big enough for that. Like, that's so silly." But I don't know. I think it's still a fun thing to have, and then to see people actually order it is just so cool.
Yeah,
Um,
like it
so
is, because it's so much fun. Like, I mean, you'll know this yourself. Um, when you like are picking all your products and then like putting the designs on, like how like fun is that? It just makes you just like,
yeah, it was so
I could do
fun.
this for like everything. This is incredible. Like,
Oh, yeah, you have, like, phone cases and stuff. I was like, "I wanna put this
yeah,
on everything," and I'm like, calm down, bring it down a notch." Like, it's not that serious, but, yeah, no, it's really cool.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, it's there. If people wanna buy it, that's great. It definitely helps. All of this helps.
mhm,
So but it's not like I didn't try to make it, a $50 t-shirt or anything
of
like,
course, yeah,
So, yeah, but no, I think it's been cool.
that's amazing.
So, yeah.
There's something else I wanted to ask you as well. So obviously you're massive into your fitness and your weightlifting. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, and like this is something that you keep separate from your streaming. Like I've seen it be
Mhm.
part of your like content before, but like not like part of your streaming. So like the fact you keep them two separate things is pretty cool. But just curious, so like how did you get into that? How did you get into like the whole fitness and weightlifting side of things? Just like from the beginning.
Um,
Like what was your fitness journey
yeah,
like?
okay. Yeah, so well, that's kind of a little bit of a dark story, but I don't mind to tell
Yeah,
it.
of course.
So after I had Levi, I had postpartum depression. They put me on some medication. and the medication didn't make me sad anymore, but I was very angry. I was a very
Mhm.
angry person. And I went to my doctor and I was like, "Hey, like I don't feel sad anymore, but I feel really pissed off all the time. Like someone will say something to me and I'm just like, and I'm not the longest tempered person anyways, but
Yeah.
I was really, really, it was just not a good thing. Like people at work were telling me like, "Emily, you've something's going on." And so when I told my doctor that, he was just like he laughed. And I was like, "Cool. Okay, thank you.
Fuck.
Love American medicine." And so I was like, "I need a way to like just get this out." So I just started working out. And initially it just started being like, I'm just gonna go. Like, I don't know if you guys have like Planet Fitness over there. It's like this really small gym, it's like $10.
Mhm.
Um,
We've similar
it's like I'm just
things
gonna go
here,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like the gym that everyone it's like the easiest access gym
Yep.
that you could get. Anyways, went there and I felt so great. Like I would leave and I come from someone who like I didn't play sports in school. Like I don't run. I don't do any of that. So this is my first like athletic experience really. And then it became a like now I have to do it. Like
Mhm.
I feel myself if I miss a few days, I start to get really cranky. My
Yeah.
boss will be like, "Have you worked out?" I'm like, "No, I haven't had time." Like, please. So it started as a mental health
Yeah.
thing, truly. And then I just liked the way it made me feel. I liked being able to get stronger. Um, and now it's just a thing that I enjoy doing. And it's a time that I do typically try to be away from everything.
Yeah.
Like Levi's not there. I mean, I still scroll. I like still scroll TikTok, but I'll try to be like that'll try to be my screen free time
Yeah.
of the
Of
day.
course.
So it's like my little time to like reset, if you will.
Of course.
So
Yeah. That's awesome. Like, so how long have you been lifting for? A few years now, surely?
yeah, like 3 or 4
Three or
years
four
now.
years, yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well, like doing it consistently for that amount of time, it is an addictive process. Absolutely is an addictive
Mhm.
process. And like, especially because, you, am I right in saying you powerlift? That would be your main,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, obviously it's PB based, it's record goal based,
Mhm.
everything like that. So like, there's this like constant improvement aspect of it, like whenever you are like training on like a kind of cycle. So if you don't mind me asking, what are your current PBs for your lifts?
Okay, well, we work in pounds.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So right now my deadlift is 285, my squat's 255, and my bench is 120. So divide all of those by 2.2, I think is the
2.2,
conversion.
yeah. I couldn't
Yeah.
do it off the top of my head, but like
Yeah.
it's still very impressive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think
So,
the most I know is that like 220 is 100 kilos, so that's the kind of what I roughly go off, something like that.
yeah.
But still, I
Yeah.
mean, still very good.
So,
Like, your squat and deadlift are well over 100.
yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you find that as well?
So,
Like, with like particularly female powerlifters, there's like the focus on like squat and deadlift. It's like easier to like lift, is it, or is it
yeah.
like easier to improve on or something? I feel like you touched on this
Um,
actually in one of Logan's streams recently.
Yeah, so just genetically or like however biologically I guess might be the right word, women are stronger in their legs, men are stronger in their arms. It's just that's
Hmm.
how we're built. So yeah, it is definitely easier to squat and honestly most men don't squat. They don't do legs
No,
at all, the
I
majority of
can
them.
I
So
can fully
yeah.
attest to this.
So
I
that, and women typically like to do legs, so it's just kind of naturally I think goes that way too, but um no, I don't know. I've grown a lot in my bench. It's just man, it's tough. And then it's kind of one of those habits that like when you go on vacation and you can't come back to work, it really sucks. And the same thing kind of happens with working out. Like if you miss 4 or 5 days, like I had COVID last November and it took me out for like 2 weeks. So I didn't
oh
work out
yeah.
for 2 weeks. And when I came back, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do this no more. Like this sucks. And so it's a definitely a mindset. And I have had people ask me like all the time, like, how do you have the motivation to do that? Like, I could never do that. How are you so motivated? And I'm like, I'm not motivated at all. I just make it like a non-optional in my day, like
Yeah.
taking a shower. Like these are the things I have to do. If obviously I don't feel good, then that's one thing. But if it's just I don't feel like it, well, that sucks.
Yeah, of course.
Because
No, for
I've
sure.
never walked out of the gym and been like, God, I wish I hadn't done that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I've always walked out and felt okay. So it's just getting up and doing it. Um, but yeah, and I don't know.
No, I
That's
get
how
that
that's
because like
kind of
yeah, I don't think like you don't really go into the gym or walk out of the gym and just be like, I didn't get anything out of that, like or I wish I hadn't
mm-hmm.
went. The worst thing you'll ever think is
Yeah.
that wasn't the best workout, but that's
Yeah.
obviously due to like other factors. Either way, your mood is still elevated a little bit better. You're not just thinking just,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, I've actually decreased progress. It's like, well, no, because I still
Yeah.
got in there. I still was able to lift these weights. I was still able to do something productive that's gonna like help me in the long term. And like I think that's like a very solid discipline to sort of have is put it as a non-optional, like you say. Like that's actually just like I've never really heard it put that way. Like everyone just kind of says, "Oh, it's just part of my routine." It's like, well, that's
Yeah.
fine, but you could choose to not do that. But let's just like, no, if you have the mindset where I have to do this, like
Yeah, I
it's a
actually
healthy
when I
thing to
first
do.
started, yeah, one of the fitness influencers I start when I was like first starting out, that's like her thing. She's like, it's not an option. You just do it. And I'm like, you know what? That's right. It's just
Yeah.
part of the day. Obviously, sometimes things happen and you can't always be there. It's not like the end of the world. But just to say, oh, I really don't feel like it. Well, I never feel like it until I get in there and start doing it. But and specifically powerlifting kind of has that same adrenaline that speed running does.
Hmm.
And the up and downs because there's some days I go in and what I could lift last month I fold under and
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
like, dang. And then you're like, oh my gosh, you're so mad. But then you go back the next time and you get it and you're like, yes, like this is so awesome. Like I want to do it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, so no, it's been cool. Um and I used to, I haven't been going recently because of some schedule changes, but going to the actual gym that I am signed up with now, like I've just made a lot of friends. And let's be honest, like
Brilliant.
I don't know about you, but I feel like the majority of us streamers really don't get that much face to face, in person interaction outside of like
Yeah.
maybe what you do for your actual job,
Yeah.
which I deal with elderly people who can barely hear or see. And so I'm like yelling all day at them. So it's nice to have a little bit of time to like interact with adults that are like-minded
Yeah,
in
of
person.
course.
Like I wish I could pull everyone out of this computer screen and like hang out with them, but and this is not related to that at all, but
That's
my
so
best
good.
friend Lindsay sometimes has been on my stream before and she's like it's so weird. She's not a streamer. She just like pops in
Yeah.
sometimes to like play with me. She's like it's so weird because I feel like they're in the room with us, but we're literally talking to a computer screen. And I was like, yeah, and they're not, we're just reading their words, but it feels like they're right here with us. But,
Hmm.
sometimes that's why I hate streaming with headphones because when I take them off to go to the bathroom, it really sets into me. I'm like, I'm talking to a monitor right now. Like, what? I don't know. It's a really weird feeling when you look at it from the outside of
Yeah.
like, yeah, but you feel like everyone is in this room with you and you know these people and then you turn it all off after stream and it's like, well, here I'm
Yeah,
alone.
like
Like,
how crazy is a thing? That is a
yeah.
thing I think is incredibly crazy because it's like you, it's a weird sort of like epiphany that like you get like at the end of every single stream. Like so, you're talking to people online here, like but having sometimes having like the deepest conversations with people who are in your chat, really opening up, having just a good time. You feel really good about yourself, but then the reality kind of like clicks in and it's like I'm in my bedroom by myself talking to my camera.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had some of the
Yeah.
most meaningful conversations I've
Oh
had in a
yeah, I
long time.
know. And I'm like,
It's
I
so
am,
weird.
yeah, it is weird. And I do feel like I think that's one thing I pride myself on my community is I'm very close, and some people will say, like, "You're too close to your people," or, like, "You get too involved," which can happen because
Yeah.
as I've grown, people have felt neglected. Because what I used to be able to just talk to 3 people on I'd Snapchat
Yeah,
them,
of
text them
course.
all day long, has now turned into, like, a regular 30 people
Hmm.
that I just can't, and so, yeah, but you really feel, like, connected to these
Yeah.
people and, you check on them and, it's so funny, my dad knows that I stream, he thinks it's the weirdest thing ever. He thinks that he's, like, 52 years old, and he still thinks, like, I'm a bunch of men in their basements are who's watching me, and I tell him all the time, I'm like, "Dad, it's not like that," but it's so hard to explain that to someone, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, "No, it's not a bunch of weird people in their mom's basement," like, it's really not. I was like, "Dad, like, I've met some of these people." He's like, "They know your address?" I'm like like, he thinks he's like, "It's not safe at all." I'm like, "But the people that I have met," so I've met, several of these people in real life, and you get so nervous because 'cause you're like, "What if this is not" like, it's sort of the same thing as, like, dating, right? Like,
Mm.
you meet someone online, you talk to them on the phone, and then you meet up for your first date, and you're like, "Ooh, you are not who I thought you were. I don't like you at all."
I have had that
Yeah,
experience, like, but like it was
yeah.
like the other way around. Like
Oh.
I got looked at as if I was the catfish, and I was like, "What the fuck,
Yeah,
man?"
yeah,
Like,
well,
but yeah, like I get that. Yeah, and I think as well, like you can meet like your viewers in real life. Like it is incredible. Like
yeah.
I've also met a few of mine as well, which like we all kind of met in like one centralized location,
Yeah.
and like the nerves are so real because it's like you I think as well the way I look at it, for me it's that like as a streamer, and the same for yourself, you're the one on the
Mhm.
camera. Everyone's looking at you, and not to sort of like not in a sort of narcissistic blown smoke up your own arse kind of way, but like they know you, they know what you look like, they know how you sound, you're talking, they're watching you. But that
Mhm.
doesn't go the other way around most of the time,
Yeah.
unless you have that kind of
Yeah.
relationship with them. And I remember like whenever I met like I say viewers, but I would call them friends, really, to be honest. But
Yeah.
the first time like we ever met at the start of this year, me and my now wife, we were in this bar, this rooftop bar, waiting for everybody. I was just like, I am so fucking nervous right now. And I was literally,
Yeah.
I think I got to like my third beer by the time they arrived, and I was kind of like, okay, the nerves are gone.
Yeah, no, I've been that way too with the people that I've met because it's like, what if this is not
Yeah,
the same as how it is online? Because what you touched on, I've said that before. It's like, y'all know a lot about me. Like, I'm a very, there's some streamers who choose to be very private, and that's great. But I am kind of very open about like my life, my child, like all of that. And so my people, I think, know a lot about me.
yeah,
But I don't, other than like which I think that's a good thing to do, is like sometimes we'll do like Discord parties where
yeah,
like
of
we'll
course.
all get on a VC and like turn our cameras on, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, some of these people have turned their camera on." I'm like, "That's what you look like?" Like, "What? I had
Yeah,
no idea." And so like I probably wouldn't even recognize you if I saw you on the street. And so yeah, no, it's very nerve-wracking. It's like, y'all know me, but I don't know you. And so it's funny that we're talking about this because we're gonna have a meetup in November for my
yes,
birthday
it's
with
amazing.
some people with like hopefully quite a few people that have been in the community for a long time, but I've never met face to face, and I'm like so excited, but I'm also so nervous because I'm like,
Yeah,
what if y'all hate me? And like you don't even know, like so apparently everyone thinks I'm like 5'9", and I'm like 5'6", 5'7", and then other people were like, "Oh, we thought you were like 5'3". So like
yeah, of
you look at people
course.
on stream, and like there's this friend that I was talking to, and I swore he was 6 foot, and he's like 5'7", and I'm like, "What?" And like so it's different like meeting people in person. You're like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were a completely different size than what you are."
Yeah,
Like, you look so different on camera than in real life.
yeah,
So,
but it's funny though how like common that is, where people like
mhm.
they take one look at you, or like once they get to know you, but they only ever see you sitting down, at your
Yeah.
computer, and it's kind of like, this person looks like they'd be tall, or they look like they'd be short, kind of thing. Like there's no real knowing. So it's like even when you like break it down into like
Yeah.
that's just so funny. And then it's obviously so like yeah, you have like I've seen that you've mentioned that in your Discord about MC Con. Is that what you're calling
Yeah.
it?
That's
Amazing.
what we're calling it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So
Yeah.
where did then that come from? Was that just sort of more based on what we've just been talking about for the last while, or like was this something that's been brewing for like a while? Is it kind of just like, all
Honestly,
these people are local, let's just kind of group everyone together?
it kind of came up with my friend Lindsay and I were talking about like my birthday was coming up in November, and we were like, I said, yeah, it's like the one time a year that my dad will watch my child overnight. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, let's go and do something. And she was like, oh, do you want to go to Nashville? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, talking about this place that we could go to. And then she was like, what do you think about like, would you invite so and so, like some of the people that I talk to on a daily basis? And I was like, yeah, I'll ask them. And then I was like, wait a minute. Let's just invite everyone and
Yeah.
whoever wants to come. And then it just kind of like I just mentioned it. I was like, would anybody want to do this? Like if it was an open invite and a couple of people were like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And so it just kind of, I guess, yeah, it just kind of happened. Wasn't anything that I had really planned. But some of, other people have had these meetups and they've went so cool. And I just think, it'd be really cool. You don't get the opportunity to have something like that happen
Yeah.
very often at all because everyone is, even if we're in the same country, like Delaney's like 9 hours from me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna come down. Like that's a long way.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not just
that's
something you could
amazing.
just do every other week or something like that.
For
So,
sure. And like I think
yeah.
what's nice about that as well is that like, if you get like a good number of people, that kind of allows then your community and your wider community to also kind of meet as well. And I think that's, what's nice about that is that everybody where it all started is that's how communities are built. Like it's like a group of people from
Yeah.
all kinds of different backgrounds who are there based on one common interest, and that is, well, the person that they're watching or what they're playing, things like that. And like the relationships that can form is just such an amazing thing. And it's like hats off to you for, the fact that you even feel comfortable with your community to just be like, let's do this. And then people have
Yeah.
just absolutely lapped it up. Like that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll go amazing for you. That sounds like it'll be
Yeah.
a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I hope it all works out because,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. So, um, this next question, this is something that I ask everybody. And
okay.
we might have already touched on this with the fitness side of things, but who knows? Who knows? So let's put streaming, general life, let's put that aside for 1 second. What are your
Okay.
hobbies and interests outside of stream? Like what is something that you would like to do that you're into that perhaps not a lot of people would know about from your community, that is?
So I love to touch grass. Like I like to be outside. So usually in the summertime, I do like before I leave, his dad and I used to like go camping all the
Mhm.
time and like do all of that kind of stuff. And then of course, like after we split up and it's just me and Levi, it's very difficult to
Yeah, of
have a
course.
child to go camping. But we still used to try to do that on the weekends and stuff. I just haven't, been able to do it recently, but I do like to do a lot of outdoor stuff. Um, but at this current point in time, my life consists of work, gym, Levi, streaming. So yeah, and I sometimes like I used to read. I used to be a really big reader before, like that's what I would do with my free time, but now it's like I either read books or I stream.
Yeah.
And I always pick streaming, so I like, you know, yeah, no, but I do like being like fostering relationships with people and meeting people, and it's funny because I have such high social anxiety, but I feel like like a very outgoing person, so
Mm.
it's odd to have both of those in combination. It's like I really want to meet people, but I'm real nervous about it, and so I don't know. This is really off topic,
No,
but
of course,
I
no.
think, that, like, I still get a lot of stream anxiety too, even though I've
Yeah.
been doing it for, like, a year and a half. there are sometimes that I'll sit here and I'll just have like such nerves to hit go live. I'm like, why? Like I've been doing this for a year and a half. Like, why am I nervous? It's gonna be mostly, but it's funny this weekend someone said that was like actually the guy I co-hosted with when he hit top 1 in rankings. He said that's the thing about like streaming TikTok in general. You do not know what is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have no clue what is going to happen. Like I just watched someone, he got on stream, he he was getting ready to get off and all of a sudden people just started flooding him with gifts and he got like top 1 in gaming.
Amazing.
And he didn't wake up and think that that was going to happen.
Oh, for
And
sure.
so I think that may be like some of the anxiety. You don't know who's going to show up, you know, and no one's obligated to come and
Oh,
watch
yeah.
you. So you just it's very unpredictable. You don't know if there's going to be a troll in the chat that's going to like wreck your mentality for a
Mm.
week by some stupid comment like that they said that they don't even know you. Um so maybe that's I don't know, maybe that's why you still get it because it's like, well, you know, I've been doing it, but
No, of
yeah.
course. Like, it's, well, I mean, and in that same vein, like, you never know if you're gonna get 1,400 people watching you play Wheel of Fortune off your phone either. So it kind of just goes to show.
Yeah, I don't think that's never happened since then, but yeah, no, you never really know what's gonna happen. You don't know, you know, who might decide to bless you that day
Of
or, you
course.
know, or it's like I said, a troll come in and just wreck your emotions for the next week
Oh
and
God, they can be so
um
brutal, especially on TikTok, because
yeah.
obviously you do stream mostly on TikTok, and like
Mhm.
TikTok, it's like there's obviously a younger demographic on that app,
Yeah.
and like they say the harshest things, and like you
Yeah.
look back, like 20 odd years ago to like when we'd have been around that age, and it's like were people
Yeah,
like
it's
our age
crazy.
like that back then, or is this just like a sort of thing where you're like kind of sensitized to it at this point? It's just like I
People
have
just
no
yeah, it's
idea.
crazy. And you know that stuff so sticks with you. I remember when I was streaming off of my phone and you know at this point in time I had like 3 people that would watch me. And I was streaming Among Us and at this point I was still new, like hardly anyone knew I had a child. Um you know, I really nobody knew anything about me. They couldn't even see my face
Yeah,
cuz I was just streaming off of my phone. And all of the sudden, all of these trolls just flooded in with, like talking about my TV, saying it's like, mind you, it's 10 p.m. and they're like, let your kids watch the TV, let your kids do this, and they would start sharing it out, and it just flooded. I had like 50 people in there, and my mods were just like going crazy
yeah,
trying to get it all, and then, but like and mind you, it's like I don't have multiple kids. They're asleep. It's nothing that should bother you, but it still bothers you. Like you
yeah,
still like I know it's happened to Logan a few times where like talked about him being a bad dad or something like that. And he's
yeah.
an amazing dad, but someone and he
Absolutely.
knows that. He knows that he's an amazing dad, but someone says that and it's still it's like it's back there.
Yeah,
So there's times that I tell people I'm like, I would like to grow, but I don't want to grow to like 2K people a straight. Like I really don't think I want that level of
yeah.
like
Of course.
I don't know if mentally I could be at that level. Like that high up and have to deal with all those people coming in and just saying whatever they want to say to you. They don't know you. They don't know what you've got going on behind the camera. And
Right.
it's just, you know, they don't know anything and they don't care. They just say whatever and
Oh
it's crazy.
yeah,
Like,
like it is just such like a horrible ignorance that some that like people have, and like the thing is as well, some people can say whatever they want about you as a streamer. Like I find like people come in and they'll say something, I'm like, cool. I don't know what's happened in your life to bring you to this moment to talk shit about a stranger online, but that's fine.
yeah.
You've got things you need to work through, and that's okay. I'm going to remind you of this. But it's whenever like the people go personal like that, especially like yourself, you mentioned Logan as well, being parents. That's kind
Hmm.
of like off limits, like because that's the sort of thing I imagine that as much rage as it would give you if someone's ever going to talk about like your kids or anything, but like surely that kind of just sticks, like,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of, yeah. I mean, trolls, like, they can be funny and creative, but like it just whenever they go like below the belt like that, it is enough to really just put you off wanting to just stream at all really for a while. Like it's just such a like
Yeah.
a shitty thing, and it does put you out of your comfort zone. Like, especially because, to touch back on what you'd said about having social anxiety, but like wanting to meet people, it's like when you do get like people coming into your chat like that, it kind of almost just it just sort of makes the anxiety kind of take over, because then you're
It,
just
like,
like,
solidifies that,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like, are people really like this? And it is just such a strange thing. But obviously, like that's like a sort of a small negative thing that I mean, it's a shame how it can overshadow like something like now
Yeah.
it's 99% positive as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just sort of, I don't know. I mean, I'm thankfully I'm in the position myself. I don't really get too many trolls. Like
Yeah,
when
I don't either.
I like it when I
Yeah.
do, for example, like just because I get to have so much fun with them. Like I just get to have so much fun. Like people,
My mods are pretty I have a really good mod team. They don't even give them a chance. They come and say one thing, boop, gone.
yeah, that's
So,
probably the best way to do it. I think, like,
yeah.
for your own sake, just because like
Yeah.
it's so like you could read something and be like, huh, that's kind of funny, but you're getting banned. But also you could kind
Yeah.
of read something, or you could be having a bad day, you could read the same comment, and then it's just like, you know what, fuck you, and I'm not streaming anymore, kind of thing. That's just such an easy
Yeah.
thing, because it is just like, it's like you say, they don't really know what's going on behind the camera, and
Yeah.
like,
No,
yeah,
and then it affects you, and so then it becomes where your people are messaging you like, "Oh, you don't feel like you wanna do this? Oh, I do wanna do this, but that comment really bothered me, so now it's
mm,
10 times harder
yeah,
to sit up here and act like, 'Let's do this,' like,
yeah,
let's have a good time,' when I'm bothered." Like, I know the times that I've gotten, like, flagged on TikTok has bothered me so much, and my chat's like, it's okay," but it's like, you see that warning at the
yeah.
bottom of the screen, and it's like, ah, because you know that 9 times out of 10, it's some troll who, like, mass reported you for whatever, they just didn't like you. So, yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
definitely yeah.
Do you ever get like any repeat trolls, like the same person coming in, whether it be on different accounts or the same one?
Not really. No, I actually am very fortunate that it is very rare that I
Hmm.
get trolls, and I think it's just because I'm not on the FYP at all. So like the
Yeah.
people who come in to see me most of the time follow me or know me from a different stream or whatever. So no, I'm pretty fortunate that I don't really get a whole lot of that, but also if it's a troll, like I will say my mods know me pretty well. They can look at my face and tell if
Yeah,
I'm
of course.
bothered, and they will pretty much shut it down and ban them. And so they don't have the chance to repeat. But I have seen like people who will just create like account after account after account, not in my stream, but I've seen in other
Hmm.
people's streams. They just keep coming back relentlessly with all of these things. And I'm like, surely there's got to be a better use of your time
Yeah,
than to
absolutely.
just sit behind your phone and create 45 alternate accounts to come in here and troll or report or whatever you're doing. It just what?
Yeah, it's
So,
a sad
yeah.
existence, isn't it? Like when you look at it like that, it's just like, do you not have anything better to do? Like,
I wish I had that amount of time.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Like it's hard enough managing like two TikTok accounts, let alone creating 45 just to talk
Yeah.
shit to somebody. Like, I swear to God, like, I mean, putting up content on your main account, it's not tedious. It's quite enjoyable when you get into it, but like, it's hard,
Time consuming.
time consuming. Exactly. You need
Mhm.
sometimes you just need like a full day to go through old clips, just have everything ready to go. And then so I have my main and I have this, and it's like, oh my God. I mean, I put more focus into this like these days, like, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
still like, it's just having to like sort of harvest the clips, having to do this, and yeah, how do people have the time to do that? Maybe they are the people in their mother's basements that your dad warned you about.
Maybe so. I tell people all the time, if you are, and I, not even just me, like I tell it to people in their streams too, and they have people that are like bothering them. Like, if you are taking the time to be in my stream and you do not like me, you are a fan
Yeah,
because you are watching me, you are spending your time, you are a fan, whether you want to be or not. If you are in my stream or
yeah,
someone else's stream and you are
100%.
hating on them, you do not like them, but you are not scrolling out, you are a fan.
Yeah,
So
it's like
it is.
a love to hate kind of thing, isn't it? When you look at
Yeah.
that, it's like it's or like when people say, um, all publicity is good publicity kind of thing. It's yeah, people are
Yeah.
just so weird like on the internet. And I think obviously it's like an age old thing about people on the internet being weird. But then when you're so involved in these sorts of things, that's when you really realize it. Like I always just was kind of thinking, you're just being skeptical. Not everybody's weird on the internet. Well, start streaming and then you'll actually kind of see.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like so in these kind of communities too, you see the same people. Like
Mhm.
you'll go into these different streams and it's so funny because I've really like I love my Mario family, but recently I have kind of been in like different communities
Yep.
with people that stream kind of what I stream. And I've started to notice as I've bebopped around that they also have the same people that go from stream to stream to stream. It's like you guys have the same little group of people that are circulating. It's just like the nature of the beast, I guess, that like little group of people. But it's been funny to see that happen on like a different side of
Yeah,
TikTok
for
as well.
sure. Oh, sorry. Just getting a little sorry. Technical error. Okay, sorry.
You're fine.
I'll edit that out. It's fine. Um, but yeah, so like it's interesting you say that though because like how often do you go around like other people's streams and it's like a 6 degrees of separation sort of thing because you'll always see at least one person that you know and
Mhm.
like I mean it's fine but you do get some people who are there in every single stream and it's kind of like I'm just trying to find someone new here. Like I'm just trying to like find something, just to get away from all of this. Sometimes I just need me time to go and watch someone by myself, which is
Yeah,
like
no, that's been
fine. It's
happening
just
to me. So like I've had a couple streams that I quote hide in. They're like bigger streams that like nobody from Mario or like that
hmm
I know is in there. But recently, because I'm a chatter, I tell people all the time, I'm like, as much as I love to stream, I am also a viewer
yeah,
at heart. And so I just like to support other people. Um and so those people have started coming into my streams to return that support. And so now my community is like, "Oh, hey, this person streams too." So now I'm like, "Okay." So it's all been intertwined, but it's great to like it's great exposure on both sides for
yeah,
like me to meet their community, them to meet my community, and get like a different group of people because I don't stream Mario. So like
yeah,
the people that watch me from the Mario community watch me just because they like me as a person. But
absolutely, yeah,
I can't really, I guess, per se, grow within that community because that's not what I stream.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I've, had to start kind of branching out and finding people who actually do like The Sims and not just, or horror games or whatever it is that, they might pop in and say, "Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I don't like this game. Just want to come say hi to you." And then they're out versus
yeah.
someone who genuinely is like, "Oh, hey, yeah, I watched so and so play this game and you're playing it too. Cool." So, so that's just been kind of like a recent thing, which is why, we were co-hosting today with someone, everybody's like, "Who the heck is that?" And I'm like, "I don't, it's just I've been making friends." So, um, so with a game I've never even played before, but
Yeah, but
so
that's
yeah, it's
like the
been
thing.
cool to meet
That's
new
what I
people.
think. That's what comes with being a variety streamer is that you're always going to be exposed to all these different communities. Like you say, like I mean, you
Mhm.
played a bit of Mario, that opened up for you meeting so many people within the Mario
Oh,
community
yeah.
and stuff like that. And even going as far to being involved in things like, so for example, Freeman's shotgun tournament. You did a bit of commentary on that. You've done commentary on
Yeah.
Logan's before. Which is amazing that it's something that even though you don't play it anymore, that you still have a hand in that and you still have like friends within that. And then,
Oh, heck yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I would not be where I was without right where I am now without the Mario community by far. And most of my like original closest people come from that community.
yeah.
So for sure.
Which is like amazing as well, considering that's like a game that you didn't really play for long, only just like a
Yeah.
little bit, and like the impact that that's had like is incredible. And the good thing is as well because you do variety streaming that you do get to meet all these different people. It's like, oh, I play this. You see someone else streaming The Sims, and then they find out, like you said, they find out you stream and stuff, and like I think being able that's how you build, and
Mhm.
it's like because at the end of the day, like even though as a variety streamer, like your community, it'll be based less on the game that you're playing, but it'll just be more about being there for you, which I think is
Mhm.
like in a sense, I think is definitely like more beneficial and helpful for growth because it's then testament to how you are as a person and how you present yourself on camera, and that's what people like. That's what people, they're there for you because like the MC that they see on the screen is the MC that you're going to get in real life, and like they're there for you because you're a genuine person, things like that. And like that's I personally, like more recently myself, have thought variety is 100% the way to go because I feel like you get to be yourself a little bit more too. You don't have to kind
Yeah.
of like niche yourself into one little category. And like take Sir T for example. Obviously, Sir T, he used to speedrun Mario 64 almost exclusively, but now he does variety as well. I have never seen that man happier. For all the time I've known him, I've never seen him happier doing what he's doing right now compared to what he was doing 6 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And like I just
Yeah.
think it's testament to when you do variety, you get to be yourself a little bit more. And that's what people ultimately, especially because you're going to have, people who are into different games, but they'll always be there for the person. And like,
Yeah.
personally, I think it's the way to go. And the fact that you've got that absolutely nailed down is like incredible. So fair play.
It's definitely a hurdle because, I could stream Mario every day and
Hmm.
have 30, 50 people watching me,
Yeah.
and I could inside not be happy.
Yeah.
Or I can stream this random $2 game from Steam and be happy and have 10 people. And so there's kind of that mental hurdle that you have to get over
Yeah.
of, and even my regular people sometimes will be like, I don't want to watch you play that game. Like, I'll be back on a different day. And so I think that is the mental hurdle that you have to get over with variety streaming
Yeah, of
is
course.
not everyone's going to like every game that you play. Even maybe your main people that are like, "No, this game sucks. Like, I'm not watching you play that, or I
Yeah.
don't like that. I'm not into that. It's not sparking my interest." Whatever. Um, it's a different hurdle to get over. And so recently, I feel like I've been kind of playing like more of the trending games of like
Hmm.
whatever is like going around on TikTok at the time. I'll watch someone else play it. If I think it's something that I'll enjoy, I'll get it. If I think nah, like people are playing Zoocosis right now. That doesn't interest me at all. So I won't be getting that. So but I'll watch someone else play it. I'm like, yeah, okay, put that on my wish list. So
Yeah.
um and it gives you free reign too, I think, with your community. Like a lot of times at the end of the stream, I'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna pull up my Steam wish list. I'm gonna show y'all a few of these. Y'all think y'all will even watch this?"
It's a good idea.
So it gives them a little more, options as to what they might want to watch
Yeah,
too.
I think that's a good way to do it as well because like I think in that sense it takes away some of the anxiety that you might have in wanting to try a new game because
Mhm.
there always is going to be that. And I think as well you would probably almost rather somebody come in and just say I'm not interested in this game, but hi. And that's great.
Mhm.
Rather than people sitting there for the entire stream, not really giving a shit, and then ducking out without saying anything, as if they're there out of pity or something like that, or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. Like, I think everybody kind of falls into that trap as well, and I think what sometimes people don't really realize is that there does take an element of confidence to be able to go in to do something new. Like, and
Mhm.
I think that's harder as a variety streamer because it's something new all the time. Unless, of course, like you say, you just was like, right, we're playing The Sims tonight. This is what I fancy doing. I'm just gonna have a chilled one, play The Sims, we'll just shoot the shit kind of thing. If you're
Yeah.
like say you're looking through your wish list, um, there then becomes that like reliance on your community to be interested. And even if it's like a
Yeah.
sort of minority vote, it's kind of like, well, okay, I want to play this anyway. There's at least a few people who are going to be into it. Sweet, let's do it. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I don't know, like I even talking to some of the bigger streamers, they'll be like, like one I talked to the other day was like, "Well, I logged off because I had like 30 people, but nobody was talking."
Hmm.
And I think that's what's cool about my community in specific because, we could have 6 people in there and the chat's like I'm like, it feels like there's 100 people in there because we're all just like yapping away and it doesn't feel like there's and then I'll look over, I'm like, "There's 6 people in here right now and I can't even keep up with chat." So, I don't know. I think it's all about how you communicate with your chat and make it interesting.
Yeah.
Like I can get on The Sims and play it as boring as possible, or we can make it interesting. You guys can pick the character. You guys
Yeah.
can do this. Like, what do you guys think about this? Like, including them, and now we have a Sims. I don't have a Sims character. We have a Sims
Of
character.
course.
So, that's an element of it too. But yeah, there's definitely that anxiety. Like yesterday we opened up a new horror game. I hadn't watched a lick of it, didn't know what to do. And so there's this anxiety of like, am I just gonna be twirling? And I was just twirling around the game, no clue what to do. Everybody's like, oh, I don't know, brother, you might want to watch a walkthrough. And I'm like, I don't know. So sometimes that can happen too. So there's a little bit of anxiety in that as well, of like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, of
but
course.
but it's
Um,
it's fun.
yeah, no, absolutely. And that's like the most important thing. So I just want to round this off here. One last question for you. So seeing everything you're doing right now, and we touched on the community and all, and like how good you are with your community. And that's an amazing thing. Very, very important as well for the type of things that you play and stream. So what does the future look like for MC? What is it that you want to get in the long term from streaming?
Um, I mean, honestly, pretty much this. Like, I'm happy with where we are. I would just like to continue to grow. Like, I think we focused on as like our community on like, trying to push us out a little more
Yeah.
to more people. Because it's so hard to get on the algorithm, period.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and welcoming new people. Like I said, I don't really think I could ever mentally be a streamer who has 2,000 people watching her every single time she logs on. Um, but to have that community continue to grow would be really cool. Like I said, in the past couple weeks, we've gained a lot of followers and stuff just from different other streams and met some really cool people that have popped into my stream. Maybe they only stay for just a minute just to say, "Hey, I know you from so and so stream. Here's a heart me." And that's
Yeah.
cool to even see that they would, come in and watch. It's like I said, we've done some co-hosts. Like I said, we've recently gotten into like co-hosting on TikTok, doing the little battles, which my community in general is not about battling, but it's a good way to like exposure on both sides of like,
Yeah.
hey, um, which like I said led into the co-host stream this morning, um, and just kind of exploring different things. And come to find out, we love the co-hosts. Like we love the battles. It's been fun. It's a really fun. So yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wherever it may take us, but we've had a really good I think past month of the community has gotten really strong. They've really been working to boost us, which has been cool to see. Um, I've been trying to do some different things, um, so to make it a little more exciting for
Yeah.
everyone. So that's been cool. Um, so I don't know if that really answers the question or not,
No, of
but
course, absolutely. It does 100%. And I absolutely love that, because the thing I've liked most about this conversation that we've had is the fact that, you are 100% doing this because it's a hobby for you. You enjoy it. It really just has so many like benefits for you. And like in terms of like your goals, just keep doing what you're doing and just kind of see where it takes you because quite obviously you're doing something right. You're doing it right. And I think the main reason for that is your reasoning for it because you're doing it for you because you enjoy it. Like you've built an amazing community and you're you're close with your community, which is important as well because some people you may see in other people's discords, the only interaction that they have is to say that they're live kind of
hmm
thing. But obviously, like we talked about, you have your movie nights, you've got your meetup coming up. Like it's I think you've definitely embodied like the variety streaming in like the best possible way, and that's like being a people person. And I don't think you get that like a lot with a lot of people. So like I definitely think that that's amazing, and the fact that you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna ride the wave here, keep doing what I'm doing, meet new people. Like, what more could you absolutely want out of that? So yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yes, MC, thank you so much for
You're
taking the time
welcome.
to come on behind the camera. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, my name is AndyGames underscore 94. My guest today has been MC5859, where you can find her on both Twitch and TikTok. MC, do you have any final thoughts for the listeners today?
Oh gosh. No, I don't think so. But thank you for having me on. It's cool that I was invited to do this. I remember you messaging me and me being like, who wants to hear me talk?
Yeah, I remember
So
you saying that as well. And obviously there has been quite a lot of people who have, and but of course as well, I had to get the person who has been mentioned in the most number of episodes of Behind the Camera
I know
on
you
for an
kept messaging
interview.
me and saying you got another one. I'm like, what? So, yeah, no, that's so funny, but I think it's just, I really it's funny that you say that because I'm one of the people I feel like was probably in every stream that people go into just because I like to support other people.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
it's
thing as well. As an
yeah,
absolutely always a good thing.
yeah.
But yes, thank you again, MC, and thank you for everybody who has tuned in live on TikTok, on Twitch. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. And until next time, thank you. And we will be back again with another guest on Behind the Camera with AndyGames. Take care.